Get ready to dive deep into the most powerful shifts in mindset, skill set, and strategy shared by direct selling high performers and experts.
An overwhelmed distributor does nothing. Right off the bat, I would love to see them get some wins so that they can carry through.
Every single thing you're going through is happening for you, not to you. I want you to say to yourself, it happened because it's supposed to elevate me.
I can't live a life not using my gifts, not using those things that were placed inside of me.
We accept everybody for wherever they are because we see where they can go, not where they are right now.
If you could give a single belief shift, what shift would you give?
Be ignorance on fire. Don't decide you have to know everything before you can start sharing.
You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to do it for you.
The secret to living is actually giving. You have to help people when they have nothing to give back to you.
What are you doing to build that relationship, to take them from a stranger to a raving fan?
It takes a lot of bravery to step out and say, this isn't all there is. I want more.
I would not be where I am right now had I not chosen to believe in myself enough to move forward.
There is a standard that you want people raised up to. Be that standard.
If we come together more, this will be an indestructible profession that everybody respects.
Welcome back to Shift. Blake here, and we're going to do something a little bit different today, and I think you're going to like it. So DSN, Direct Selling News, recently hosted its annual Direct Selling University event. This is a very special time over the year where hundreds of companies come together. This past event, we had over, get this, $40 billion with a B dollars in annual channel revenue represented, and we get a chance to just share as companies, owners, executives, what the entire industry is seeing, experiencing, innovating, and doing to continue to excel and make the impact we're making in people's lives every day. I had the honor of doing a special segment where we talked about Shift. We talked about this show, we talked about you all and what this community is doing, and really looked back at our first 6 months of just so many real, raw, eye-opening, inspiring conversations. And I highlighted the top 5 most powerful perspectives that have been the common trends, the themes on what is working in our communities today, and had the honor of spotlighting many of our amazing guests. And I just wanted to share this segment with all of you. So I asked DSN, because normally these are private for in-the-room only member companies. This might be one of the first where you, our entire community around the world, get a chance to hear some of the things going on these DSU stages. So for this week's special episode, you get a chance to be there in the seat at our DSU event recently for this segment that was recorded live at this year's Direct Selling University. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Over the last 6 months, I've had the awesome opportunity to have inspiring, often eye-opening conversations with top field leaders from many of your companies in the room. My intention was twofold. Number one, just to learn. How many of you guys love to learn? You're learning at this event by a show of hands, right? But number two is just to shine a spotlight on what is really making a difference to our field. And total side note, while I was preparing this presentation, I got inspired going through all the different episodes to put together the ultimate shift summary. So I did use AI tools for this to compile the most insightful insights from every single guest episode to date, really for selfish reasons, because I wanted the list. But for all of you guys that want the full shift summary, I'll give that to you at the end. But for our time here, since it's limited, I'm going to focus on the top 5. How many? 5 most powerful perspectives that I've gotten from the conversations with your leadership right to date. Starting with the most obvious, we are in a season of shift. We've heard that said of many different ways, right, all day today. Everybody do me a favor, everybody simultaneously, take a deep breath. Let it out. Look at the person next to you. Look at them deep in the eye and say, it's not
just you. I know it can feel that way sometimes, right? Look at him back and say, it's not a bad thing, okay? Guys, we are all in a season of shift, but everything comes down to perspective. Whether we see obstacle or opportunity is always a choice. It has been so refreshing to have conversations to see how our field leaders are embracing the season that all of us are in right now. Guys, we're in a monumental moment. Not just for the companies, not just for the executives. We're in a monumental moment for the entire direct selling industry. We're at a time where it's now becoming normal to work from home. Like it wasn't that long ago, that was weird, right? Today, that is normal. Advertising costs going up. Art Jonak last night talking about white noise. Mainstream brands now making the shift to incentivized word of mouth. Mainstreaming what we do. Technology, social, and yes, AI. Now making it more possible than ever for the average person to reach the world. There's an entrepreneur shift happening right now. There's a new era of entrepreneur. They don't just want a paycheck, they want purpose. They don't just want financial security, they want freedom. Here's my belief. Do I have your attention, yes or no? I believe that the solutions on how to navigate and how to capitalize the shifts that we're feeling today are going to happen in the field first. Some of you guys have been around as long as I have. You remember where like the strategy used to be the bubble. It was literally something we taught. You're in a bubble, don't look over there. You guys, that bubble burst a long time ago. Today's paradigm is radically different. Today's paradigm is about collaboration over competition. This room is an example of that, and that's the mission of Shift. So the mission of Shift is to create a safe space for field leaders across the entire channel to come share their observations, share their experiences, share their feelings, share what is working today. Question for reflection. I know you guys have workbooks, right? So let's use the pens. Where does your company stand right now, corporate and field leadership, when it comes to you embracing this season? You ready and willing to make a shift? Do me a favor on that nice clean page, right, number 1, and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 where you and your leadership is at right now, right on that shift. We're all in this season. Number 2, the hard truth that we will be pushed by pain until we're pulled by purpose. The conversation I had with Mary Kay Kemper, I thought she did a great job summing this up.
I was literally, as I said earlier, surviving, and I was very void of joy. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had children and things that could give me joy, but it was surviving. I don't know how else to say it. And I just really remember specifically hearing, and it was a very physical feeling for me. It was like an irk in your soul mm-hmm. that just every once in a while was showing up. And I would say, what is that? Mm-hmm. And I really believe that if people sit quietly and they start asking questions, you're going to get signs. If you're open, you're going to get something. There's something that's going to be like, oh, what's that? And I just encourage everybody, keep pushing at it, keep going at it, keep questioning it, get curious. And I just kept getting curious.
When it feels like you wake up and you're fighting fires every day, it can be very easy to lose sight of your why. You wake up, you're dealing with field drama, you got that leader complaining, you got that leader leaving, you got some letter from Tina or the self-regulation committee, right, hitting your inbox, you got that technology thing not working again, you got that product out of stock again, you got all the things playing defense on your heels. Anybody relate to that feeling? Reconnecting back to field leaders that are on fire reconnects us to our core. At the center of our business is purpose. Like, You gotta be passionate about what we're bringing to the world, passionate about our product and our service, passionate about empowering entrepreneurs. You gotta be connected to that why, and that starts not at the bottom, at the what? At the top. Where focus goes, energy flows. I love how John Addison talked about energy. People follow people with passion. Enthusiasm is caught, not taught. It starts with purpose. Rate yourself. Number 2, on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to your current focus right now, from focusing on your problems to focusing on your purpose, give yourself an honest rating. Number 3, finding your voice and speaking to your ideal customer. Authenticity has been an overused buzzword, I'll admit. But guys, every conversation I've had with field leaders from a lot of companies, this has come up. I think that Robin did an amazing job on this point.
From being so private, and I grew up with a very tough dad that was like, don't ever let him see you sweat. Well, that's great when you have a little girl amongst boys and whatever, or in high pressure situations. But in what we do, that doesn't work. You have to share your struggle or no one can relate to you. You have to be authentic. You have to put yourself out there, or again, no one can relate to you. And picture perfect is not attainable, not real. People can spot that fakeness right away, and they don't want that. So I just had to start like really making sure, like, do people know me? Can you feel who I am through my social media? And that was a struggle, and it took a while to get it right. And I'm not saying it's still right today. It's, always evolving, because no one's purchasing from you. No one's joining your team. No one's going to let you lead them if they don't feel like they know you, like you, or trust you. I had to use social media to help build. I had very few friends even in the beginning on social media. And I had to radically change my thinking on that too, and start really putting myself out there, which is hard because when you put yourself out there, your authentic self, it leaves you open for judgment. It leaves you open for criticism, all the things. But it's also how you find your people. It's how you find your community. It's how you find the ones that are going to be in your tribe.
Being genuine. Ensuring that your community feels like they know you and your company. And just as important as your community knowing you, we, the company, have to know who our ideal customer is. I did a conversation with Ellen Ludwig. I think she gave us a simple framework. You're gonna wanna write down these questions.
That is definitely another shift that I made, talking to my ideal client. You absolutely need to know everything about your ideal client. Who is she? What does she want? What does she think she needs to do? What does she actually need to do? What are her desired results? What are the results that you're actually going to get her? Okay, it's like six buckets.
So marketing today, it's about embracing authenticity. It's about finding our unique voice, and it's about really understanding who our customer is. The answers to those questions should be the reflection of our marketing strategy, our communication, our content, right? To stand out from everything, we must first stand for something, right? If we try to appeal to everyone, we're often gonna connect to no one. So question for reflection, where do you rank your community right now? On your community knowing the company and your company really knowing the answers to who your target customer is. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, shift number 4, going from self-focused to service-focused. Do I have your attention, yes or no? You guys, this was a moment like during the conversation where I got chills and like moment of clarity when I was talking to Andrea Gebhardt. And I promise you, listen to this carefully. It's gonna make a lot of things make a lot of sense on what we've been feeling and what we've been going through. Watch this.
And then about 2015 or 16, suddenly everything in the online space shifted from serving others to shifting to yourself and building your brand. And there's this huge message about build your brand. Lots of trainings, build your brand, build your brand, build your brand. And suddenly everybody's got their own logo and they've got their own websites. Brands are essential when you're going that direction. But again, we made that turn when we adapted and we lost sight of what really matters. We lost sight of what makes us different. We lost sight of what true leadership and influence is about, and it's service. We have this really tight weave of support and culture and community. And the less focused we become on service, the weaker that becomes, and the weaker that becomes over time. And then people are so focused on brand and not building other people, and we develop these cracks, and people come in and they're not being poured into. Their thinking isn't shifting because nobody's having those conversations, because they're not focused on building the human side of that person. And that's when we lose people. That's when they fall through the cracks. And so here we are, fast forward to today, and we're like boggled, like, why do people lack the mindset? Why are people lacking the grit and the resilience? What happened? Like, why do people get tripped up on the littlest thing and then they bounce and they're out, or they've got shiny object syndrome? And it's happening because we've spent the last, if we go from 2015 to now, almost 10 years focusing on self and not service. And we have to change that. We have to bring it back.
From self back to service. Guys, the algorithms on social media are changing all the time. It's super frustrating. The algorithm on real relationship remains constant. Care. Genuinely care. And in a world where digital interaction is now the norm, bringing back personal touch is like a revolutionary strategy coming from our field leaders. Scale of 1 to 10, how would you prioritize right now that feeling, genuine care happening within your community, all leadership? So guys, yes, the conversation we're having, it's a both and scenario. This world forces us a lot of times to have an either or. It tries to put us into a decision. Today's strategy, it's both and. It's not choosing between online, right, or in person. It's not virtual or reality. What I'm hearing from the field leaders on what is working today is integrating the best of both, leveraging the strengths of online attraction and, right, the depth of personal connection. How can we combine the reach of digital, right, with the depth of real life interaction? And number 5, this has been said since the beginning of this business model, and it stands just as true today. If we build our people will build our business. I love how simple Patrick Mazer put this.
A lot of people, as you know, over the years who've had a lot of success in this industry, unfortunately, had their back against the wall. So I would say just, you got to read, you got to listen to personal development. You got to really spend time for you to understand that everybody started at the same place of not feeling enough, not feeling that they were the one, not feeling that they could make a big difference, but they stayed in the conversation of personal development.
To have more, we must become more. I saw Sherry Lynn Alcala in the room, amazing episode as well, talking about how you used your setbacks as setups, personal growth. Garrett was on the show talking about personal growth. Guys, the consensus is clear amongst the leaders. The overnight entrepreneur, the flavor of the month, the shiny object syndrome does not work. Every single leader, same theme. Dedication to personal growth, a long-term mindset, and consistency until. I wish I had time to go through all of the insights. I told you guys I'd give you away. If you want the entire list, find me on Instagram, @BlakeMallen, send me a DM, just put the word shift. It'll automatically send you all 47 shifts. I only had time to cover 5. And for those of you guys that were there last night, you learned that I did use AI for all of this. I used ChatTube to go through all the videos. I used my ChatGPT, right, to find it all. And I used Gamma to put together what it's gonna send for you. And it's yours. So take it, use it for yourself, use it for your field. All of the shifts are there. How many of you guys, honestly, as we're going through this or you're watching some of the conversations, how many of you the thought went through your mind that I wish my field leaders, right, had this belief or could hear some of this? I know it. You guys, this is an opportunity. We're live on all platforms. So if you're not following the show, we're live on Apple, Spotify, Audible, YouTube. We have 6 months worth of amazing wisdom. New episodes are dropping every single Monday. And if we haven't had a chance to spotlight someone from your community, we'd love to. Here's kind of the 2 people we're looking for nominations for. Yes, ChatGPT came up with our avatar names. The first one's kind of obvious. So if you have kind of like your mega leader, your top earner, they've been in the industry for a while, they're probably over 40, they're still current credibility in the hunt, right, today, would love to spotlight them. But here's the second, and I challenge you to think about this. Who's the rising star? Like less than 5 years, under 35 years old, really making things happen. I think both perspectives we can learn a lot from. It's a great opportunity for them. It's a great opportunity for you as a company, but it's really about collaboration and allowing us to learn, be students, get out of that bubble, right, and raise the tide across the entire industry. So I invite you to please do that. You can nominate them on directsellingshift.com. Find me here, send us a message. And in my last couple minutes here, I'll leave you with a bonus. This is actually from Monday's episode. I had a chance to have a conversation with Dan
I
McCormick.
want everybody to know that because you and I have been there, and when it feels like the world is falling on top of you, this paradigm really helped me break out of the plateau in my life. But as you and I both know, when you're going sideways and plateauing like this, you're really going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a combination of miracles that happened in my life that changed my paradigm to the person that's going through the deep, dark, tough time. Because you think it's never going to end when you think about where we're at right now. At the time we're filming this, spring is right there in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been in that dark, cold winter, the body is aching and pain and things aren't going right, your systems aren't clicking, your story isn't smooth, the dollars aren't flowing, all of that stuff, spring forward at the genesis of where it will all change. And how many of you believe that thoughts are things?
Absolutely.
What we think about, we bring about, right? So here's the key. In order to make your present better, you've got to make your future bigger.
Wow. Say that again.
In order to make your present better, you're in that dark place right now. You and I are standing on stage. We're sitting in chairs right here. We're talking in front of thousands of people. In order to make that person out there that's just like, oh man, I just wish it was better. Oh baby, we got to let all that go. And we've got to know, in order to make our present better, we've got to make our future bigger.
Dan, 40 years in the industry legend, the whole conversation's inspiring, but that clip I think is relevant for all of us. To make our present better, we got to make our future bigger. And I think DSN does an amazing job with these events, getting together, value, transparency, trust. This environment, it helps us as companies and leaders leave here with a bigger vision. We want to bring with Shift the same conversation to the community. So thank you, DSN. Thank you, Stuart, for the honor of this project. Thank you guys, honestly, for the trust. I don't take that lightly. And I look forward to continuing to serve, support, and share and shine a spotlight on what's working so we all can have a brighter and bigger future and a better future together.